Rachel Hill.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. And this is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And with me today, I have Mr. Marshawn Powers and Mr. Caleb Blake with me today. We're going to have a fun show. We're going to be discussing some sports. We're going to be discussing some OSU. And hopefully we'll get to it. But a little bit of Major League Baseball World Series is going on right now. And fellas,
What's up?
what's up with y'all? How
Rachel?
y'all doing? Marshawn, how you doing, sir?
I'm a little upset today, man.
You a little upset? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
Mr. Rising Sophomore at The Ohio State University, Caleb Blake, how are you doing today, sir? Caleb, can you hear me? Caleb, I don't know if Caleb can hear me. Can you hear me,
I
Caleb?
can.
Y'all here?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
can
can
hear.
hear.
I can hear Caleb. I don't know if he can hear you though.
Yeah. Well, Marshawn, while we get Caleb going, tell us what you're upset about.
Man, I'm upset about. First, I'm upset about two things. One, I'm upset because, well, three things. I'm upset because I didn't get a chance to go out to Maryland this weekend and see my Terps beat up on the Indiana Hoosiers. Two, I'm upset that Ohio State didn't beat up on Penn State more than I thought. That game should have never been that close. And then the third thing that is the cherry on top of everything was for lack of better words, a poor showing by the Cleveland Browns yesterday against a, a team that I felt like we should have won. You know, a team that didn't already feel like they respected us, thought that, the last two wins we beat them was flukes, and had to put us back in check. And I mean, I got to give big ups to the Steelers. I mean, I sipped on the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid had too much sugar in it, Rachel. I sipped on the Kool-Aid a little bit too much. I thought that I was going to see a different team. I thought that the chapter changed with the Cleveland Browns, but I mean, nothing. Honestly, right now, I feel like nothing has changed. I'm not seeing anything that validates that last year may not have been a fluke. Is we seeing the same old right now.
Well, I'm going to call Kevin Stefanski Mr. I got to do better, because when you ask him a question, that's the only thing he says is, I need you to say something other than I got to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, come with
Yeah,
another line, come with something else, because you're not doing better. And part of
go
the
hire
reason.
go
Hmm?
hire a new public. Go hire a new publicist that can write something better than I need to do better, or we'll see, or something else.
Yeah, because I think we're tired of the same old excuses. And the thing is, we're not doing better. If anything, we're doing worse, and we're going in retrograde with this team. So, overall, what were your thoughts about the game overall? I know you said that, but I think the spread was 3 points, 3.5 points. So, there was pretty much everybody believing that Pittsburgh was a bad team and that they would come in here and struggle, and they didn't. But one of the things is the Browns put up literally no points in the fourth quarter over the past few games that we've had. The past three games, I don't think they put up any touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I
Yeah, I
got to
mean,
check the stat, but
no, I think we scored yesterday in the first and third. We didn't score in the second and fourth, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look it up. But as far as the game yesterday, I didn't see it. I was at work, so I had to listen to it. I got to listen to the beautiful voice of Jim Donovan and Doug Deacon. But
mm-hmm.
I didn't really. I just every time I would listen to it, and I would tune in and tune out of it. It seemed like it was a slow game. So it was like, okay, maybe this is a slugfest. Maybe you know Pittsburgh ain't gonna lay down to us. Maybe we actually got to do a little bit of extra work. But then when you hear calls in the red zone where you got Austin Hooper dropping a pass, when you got um, Hollywood Higgins getting a false start on a critical fourth down that we needed. When you got um, the defense giving up a 50-yard pass on a down that we needed to possibly get another chance to win the game. When you got Kevin Stefanski not going for it on 4th and 1 at midfield, because he's afraid that his quarterback might get hurt. It's just a bunch of it's just a bunch of things right now that I feel like, the Browns need to, one, reset, look at themselves in the mirror and figure out what's going on, We can't continue to be a run first team on offense. You got receivers for a reason. You're paying Odell and Jarvis millions of dollars for a reason. Granted, Jarvis got to catch the ball. I mean, that's what you get
He
paid
had
for.
2
I don't. I
drops.
don't want. I don't want to see. I don't want to see any videos of Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham with a jugs machine catching balls, and they mess around in the game and they drop it. That's not fair. That's not fair to me as a fan. That's not fair for me as somebody who's aspiring to be in the media. That's just not fair at all. It's a tease, because you're telling us that your hands is automatic, but then you out here dropping passes that's ever so easy to hit your hands. But you only can give them some of the blame on it because the quarterback Baker Mayfield ain't putting the ball on them on spot. Some of the balls I felt like was high balls, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, some of them I still feel like if it hits your hand, it's catchable. I feel like the defense play. Go ahead.
I was going to say Odell Beckham caught both of his targets yesterday, and the third pass was high. So
Yeah,
and he's not tall at all. So he kind
yeah,
of had the sky. He went for it with one hand, but it was still out of reach.
yeah.
So,
I haven't even
but
gotten on to. I haven't even gotten on to number 13 yet, man, because I'm confused. I'm confused on what's going on with the situation with him. Like, are we using them or are we not? Like last year, we complained we was throwing the ball to him too much. Under Freddie Kitchens, we was throwing the ball to him way too much. Now we barely even throw the ball to him. It's crazy how, I can't tell you the last time I watched the Browns game and the Browns went verts and just aired it out. Now I can't tell you the last time I watched the Browns game where we went shotgun and used bunch sets and you just confuse the defense. Everything is run, run, run with this team. Like, it's hard to watch a Browns game right now because I'm having nightmares of the past 20 years. Like, man,
well,
like
we
Stefanski,
still don't we still only have one receiving touchdown?
I believe no, we got two. Donovan Peoples-Jones got two, and against who was that?
One was against
The
Denver, right?
Cardinals. No,
Yeah, that was a
Donovan
Hail
Denver.
Peoples-Jones.
Mary.
Then yeah, he got two against the Cardinals. So I mean, we can't say that we haven't had a 100-yard receiver yet. Now it's on to can we get a consistent 100-yard receiver? I was having an argument on Facebook all day with one of my older guys I used to work with, and he said I posted a post saying it's a shame that we have all of these receivers, but our leading receiving in terms of yards is a tight end. But our third leading receiving is a running back. And his excuse was, oh, we haven't been healthy. The three of the receivers have missed a total of 8 games. I don't care about that. You out there for a reason. If you're on that field, I assume that you're at least 80 to 90% healthy to get on their field and produce. So I can't accept any more excuses from a team that, everybody believed that this team, could take a step further than almost beating Kansas City. Like this team essentially better than Buffalo. So I'm confused on the team right now. I'm not in panic mode. Everybody's around here running around with their hair on fire. I love this stuff. I love this. I love walking around the city of Cleveland and see how all these people around here panic, because that just tells people they fake that. That tells me that they don't believe that this team has changed. And I still got faith. But I mean, at the end of the day, I need to see changes or I'm going to be standing outside of Berea with a sign requesting a meeting with Andrew Berry, the owner, and Stefanski. They're gonna hear on
Caleb,
behalf
do
of
you
all
have bail
fans.
money to bail Marshawn out of jail? Because that apparently that's
Yeah, I
what's
might.
going.
I mean, I'll have to be saving up and missing a few Ohio State games pretty soon. But I can. I'll do it for you though. I'll do it for you.
All right, man. That's
No,
love, man.
I agree with most of what you're saying though, Marshawn. I mean, it's very baffling right now that we just can't figure it out with all this talent we have. Yesterday was another game where as you're watching it, there was no point where I really felt until the Steelers scored that go-ahead touchdown. I was like, all right, we'll kind of find a way to pull this one out. I mean, we've showed more resiliency than we ever had as a franchise, within the past 2 years and whatnot since we've had Kevin Stefanski. But right now, within this past couple games we've had, there's been a real lack of adjustments, I think, which is something that we're not compared to last year. We're definitely not used to seeing from him. And I we're gonna have to figure it out at some point. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around for yesterday's loss. I mean, obviously Jarvis had two pretty key drops. Well, the drop and the fumble really is what hurt, especially that fumble, because that's right after. I mean, look, Baker.
You're driving down.
I do think he missed. Oh my God, I think he missed some throws yesterday, but he had that big run on third down, and he was fired up because that was a late hit on. It wasn't Minka Fitzpatrick, but I don't remember who the corner was that hit him out of bounds. But you see him fired up, like that's what gets a guy like him going, and that's why we love him so much, because that's Cleveland, like just gritty, like we'll do whatever it takes to win, and so that obviously when you have a momentum killer like Jarvis, with that fumble, then he has to drop on the next play, and the defense really wasn't terrible yesterday. It just felt like all of their big plays were happening at the worst possible times. They were hitting at the worst times, and even on the final tight end or the final touchdown to Freiermuth. Like that wasn't terrible defense. I mean, he just made
that
really
wasn't a touchdown, man. That was not a touchdown.
Oh,
that
he
was
caught
not,
it. He caught it.
No,
It was a great catch.
oh my! I saw a replay. I'm gonna have to send it to you, where you could see the ball hit the ground. Like you could literally see the ball hit the ground. I was like, oh my goodness.
The rules in NFL, the catching rules are so
they still don't know what a catch is.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. I mean, Des Bryant's been complaining about this since 2014. So, I don't know if we would have got that one back. But, I mean, we're going to have to, Odell only having, 2 catches yesterday? I thought he had 1.
2 catches.
But
he had one
obviously that's not enough for him. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard we just can't figure that out, when you have Jarvis playing like he did and then no one else is really stepping up. I mean, that's why, we're losing these close games. When you take the Chargers game, the Chiefs game, this game, I mean, we're losing all these games to these good teams. I think we're 0-3 right now against teams with a winning record.
Pittsburgh ain't even a good team.
And yeah, that's the team we have to beat, especially in this stretch right now, because we're going to have to play Cincinnati, who's going to be fired up because they just lost the Jets. I mean, you never want to lose to a team like the Jets. And then after that, we have the Patriots, which is actually a big game now. Because if you look at the standings, I mean, we're both 4-4. I mean, pretty much we'll probably have the same kind of divisional record. I think the Patriots have only beaten the Jets in their division. But it's another
we got Cincinnati
tough
coming up this weekend. This weekend we got Cincinnati.
I believe right now Cincinnati could beat us. Right now, just early feeling, I believe Cincinnati could beat us right now.
Because they can beat us, and they probably will.
I mean, if we seeing this same team that we've seen the past 4 weeks, this non-aggressive team, this team that think, just because if you run the ball and you go out there on the field, you'll just get by, we won't win. We won't win. I need to see a defense that's gonna get some takeaways Sunday. Like we barely. How many takeaways do we have on the season? 3, 4?
Not a lot.
Not enough. Not enough. Like Myles Garrett can only do so much for us. And I know Denzel didn't really play this weekend. And even though I thought Greg Newsome I thought he had a very, very solid game. He made some really big plays yesterday, especially on that there was a key third down before. Greedy had a solid game. I thought he gave up a few plays that he probably could have made, but it's also tough because he's a smaller guy going up against, he was lining up against Claypool a lot yesterday. And that's, obviously the disadvantage. But I thought he played well for the most part. But yeah, Newsome, that one play before the Jarvis drop to give us the ball back. That's a tackle that your first round pick is supposed to make. Like that's a play that not every guy in the league is going to make. So, the defense really wasn't bad at all yesterday. But we got to figure this all out before it becomes too late.
My thing is, when other teams fumble the ball, they get their ball back. We don't never push them out of the way for a fumble. We don't get greedy with it. We need to get nasty, physical. We need to get back to, those Browns, a little bit of the Browns that we had with Greg Williams, where we was just nasty and physical and grimy and didn't care, about your feelings. You know what I mean? Miles broke the quarterback's ankle. That's the Browns that I like. The over physical, the ones that left their mark. Now it's kind of like, I don't know, man. We're not big dogs, man. We run around here looking like chihuahuas that just bark a lot.
All right, fellas, we got to take a quick break right quick. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is News Director Trey Modlin. On November 10th,
Last comment
WOVU
said Browns need to
95.9
trade away
FM,
OBJ.
the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and the Cleveland chapter of the NAACP will bring you the 11th and final installment of the Cleveland Consent Decree series on the topic of community engagement, recruitment, and diversity. Learn how the Cleveland Division of
Browns
Police
need to
will
trade
address
away
these areas,
OBJ.
plus ensuring officer
I
safety
don't
and
know about that. I
accountability
don't know
and
about
promoting
all that.
constitutional effective policing.
Who
It will
gonna
be
throw the ball
moderated
to,
by
huh?
Darielle Snipes, a multimedia journalist for the CMSD News Bureau. For more information and free registration, visit UnitedWayOfGreaterCleveland.org. That's UnitedWayOfGreaterCleveland.org for the 11th and final conversation on the consent decree. We will broadcast it live right here on WOVU 95.9 FM and stream it on WOVU.org and on our free mobile app. Join us on Wednesday, November 10th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. on community engagement, recruitment, and diversity. Because together, we have elevated change in the community. Thank you again to the United Way of Greater Cleveland, the Cleveland chapter of the NAACP, and all the partners that made these discussions possible. We are WOVU 95.9 FM, our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and you can join the conversation at 216-271-0959. You can listen online at WOVU.org, and make sure you download that WOVU app so you can listen to us all the time on the go, your favorite cast of characters. And also, you can join us on StreamYard. You can go to Rachel L. Hill, and you can see us on Facebook, so you can watch us live as we talk and do our show. So, and I don't know, Caleb, can you see any comments? I'll have you read the comments because I can't see any. But if you do, can you read those out if they do pop up for us? Okay.
Yes. So
right.
Sander recently just said the Browns need to trade away OBJ.
I think
I
that's
don't know
nuts,
about
man.
that. What do you guys think?
I mean, Sanders allowed to believe whatever he wants. You know, I'm not going to discredit what any man or any person on this earth believes, but I think that would be just kind of crazy to get rid of OBJ.
Supposedly, Kevin Stefanski is going to commit to getting the ball more to him because he got about 3 questions today in today's press conference about OBJ. And, you know, I'm calling Kevin Stefanski Mr. I got to do better now because that's all he says. You know, Mr. I got to do better now says, you know, that he's going to focus on getting the ball to OBJ more, get him involved a little bit. They got him involved yesterday on the second play. I think the second play of the second drive where they did the screen pass. And I think Marshawn was right in which it didn't count because that target didn't count because it got wiped out by that roughing the passer penalty. So that didn't count. So essentially, you know, he had 1 catch and Baker was not accurate when he hit him with when he tried to do the second pass on the last drive of the game. But
yeah, but
go ahead.
I mean, it's not even more so. Here's my issue with OBJ and targets, and it's all about the offense because Stephon Diggs had the same issue with the offense. You know, with him not being allowed to just freely do him. It's the offense is, hey, you run this route. I need you to be here at this route on this time, and then the ball will magically get to you if you're open. When that's not how OBJ operates, you know.
Yeah.
How about, you know, having OBJ come out in the backfield on some, you know, some bubble screens or something like that? Get creative with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I like about the guy who the guy who runs the offense best right now, and that's because it's his dad offense, and that's Kyle Shanahan. Is Kyle Shanahan, you know, uses his players best. Look at Deebo Samuels. Him and Odell's about the same size, and Deebo is having his way. I feel like that's how we should be using Odell Beckham.
Think about
in the
how
style
Kyle
of offense.
Shanahan used Johnny Manziel on that one time.
Yeah.
And Johnny actually picked up the first down, but just that creativity is not there and it's lacking. And it's not a Trey OBJ thing. It's a Kevin Stefanski thing because Kevin is calling the plays, not Odell. And you're right, Marshawn. Odell Beckham is a creator, and this is a fixed offense where you hit your spot. And like you said, the pass gets there, it gets there. But OBJ, sometimes he might freelance, he run his route, but he also is going to get what the defense is giving him. But also, too, I understand that you have a corner, you have safety help, and you attract a lot of attention. So that does leave, opportunities for other players as well, too. But you pay him and Jarvis way too much money for them not to have receiving touchdowns this year. And we're going on to what, game 9?
Yeah.
I mean, how is that even possible?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be possible.
But think about what I just said.
I agree with you guys.
I said this last night. I commented I retweeted another Cleveland media personality. I won't say his name on the show, but I said yesterday. I think Stefanski is out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all played Madden once in our life. I'm pretty sure Stefanski out there asking Matt no offense. He's not actually going into the playbook. He got a set plays, and I think this playbook might work. What do you guys think? No, he's not showing me any. He's not getting in his. What do we say? He's not getting in his bag right now. I need him to get a little bit more in his bag. Show us why you the coach of the year.
Yeah, I think we've definitely seen some creativity before from the offense too. And there's sometimes when every once in a while we'll have that just dominant drive where we can't be stopped, And some of that starts with the run game. It is what it is, but I think we need to, like you said, get into our bag. I mean, we can put Odell. He's such a talented player. He can line up virtually anywhere, and realistically, he'll make an impact. And I know Coach Stefanski talks a lot about using Odell as a decoy and whatnot. But eventually, he's a decoy for a reason. You got to give your guy a 50-50 ball every once in a while. And yesterday, the one that wasn't on Odell. I saw a lot of people on Twitter kind of giving him or throwing shade about that.
Which
the alligator
pass later in the game.
The alligator
later in the game.
Yeah,
the one Baker. Yeah, they said he alligator armed it. I think. Look, realistically, there's a chance Odell, before the injuries, probably. I mean, he could maybe make that catch, but that's not. If it's a better ball, he shouldn't have to go up and make an acrobatic play like that in the first place.
Yeah.
So a part of that is the ongoing.
Right.
Yeah, a part of it's the ongoing. Baker and Odell, will they figure it out? I still think they can. I really do think that right now Baker's shoulder is still bothering him a little bit. I still would like to see him get a little bit more healthy. Even though realistically, I wasn't mad that he played against the Steelers this weekend. That's a big game that we needed to win. And had Case Keenum been out there, I don't know. I feel like even still with the injury, Baker took some more shots that I don't know Case Keenum would have, or got out of some situations that, Case Keenum may not have been as mobile to, figure out and navigate through. But I really don't think that we need to. This is like a Baker and Odell can't figure this out. I think that eventually, that they'll get on the same page. I mean, we're a strong team. Jarvis is gonna he'll definitely navigate that relationship, and it'll be fine. I'm really not too worried about it.
But it's week 9, and there's not that many pages in the book left.
I still have faith though. I still have faith. I think the Bengals. We said this the weeks of the Chargers, Cardinals, and that 3-game stretch, that it would be, this is we need to go 2 for 1. We didn't do that, but realistically, this is kind of like a second shot. We got the Bengals and Patriots. If we can win both of these games coming up, then we're right back where we started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm still listen. I said 8-3. I said 8-3. So what are we at now? We got to go. I think 7-2.
4-4.
We have to go 7. We have 4-4. So I still say we need to. My playoff minimum for my say is 11-6. So we need to go 7-2 over the next 9 games. Goodness gracious, that's asking a lot. But I still.
It's doable though. I think it's doable.
You got Baltimore coming up twice, and you got Green Bay coming up. It's not
Yeah,
easy. This is a
The
harder
Green Bay game is
schedule
going to be
this
tough.
year.
yeah, and I say this, I don't know what it is about this Browns team. This is me speaking with a lot of optimism. They play Pittsburgh better in Pittsburgh for some reason. I think we put up a better fight against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. What do we do here? I don't know why. It's hard for me to understand, but no, I'm going to believe that maybe that I didn't think we would beat Pittsburgh 2-0 this year. I'm gonna say
I
that
did.
maybe we learned our lesson
Nah,
and
I
we
did.
get it. No,
I
I
did.
I didn't believe we would be. That's disrespect. See, y'all. Listen, you cannot go into. I still believe wholeheartedly. I don't care what nobody say that the AFC North is the best division in football. We the most scrappiest division in football. We got to deal with We got to deal with weird elements and cold weather and all like that. Nobody in this division plays inside. We all play outside in pretty nasty weather. So with that being said, I still feel like, everybody in this division is battle tested. I still feel like, I still respect the Pittsburgh Steelers. I respect, Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati got the best receiving unit in this division. Lamar is the MVP and makes things happen. So I don't think no team in this division and us, we got our ups and downs. I still feel high on this, but no team in this division is a scrub. I think everybody in this division is playoff caliber, could possibly make the playoffs. Will everybody in it make the playoffs? No. I think if anything, we'll get 3 out of 4 teams in this division that'll make the playoffs, especially now with the news of Derrick Henry going down. I really believe that you'll get 3 teams out of the AFC North going to the playoffs this year.
It happened last year. Why can't it happen again?
Right. On top of that, George actually in the chat just said he thinks 12 wins gets you a current wild card.
No, absolutely not.
I think we could definitely sneak in with 11. We could definitely sneak in with 11.
Here's why I say 12. Look how many teams. Let's see. What's the best record in the AFC in the entire AFC North? I mean, the AFC is like 5-2, 6-2, somewhere around there. And it's not that many teams.
Titans are 6-2 right now.
Yeah, Titans are they're gonna lose a little bit more games. So they're 6-2. Bills are what 6? Bills are 6-2. I think Bills will be the top dog of the division. I think Baltimore's gonna lose a few more games. Pittsburgh, I think they'll lose a few more games. Cincinnati, they got sauced up yesterday by the Jets. Their secondary isn't really good. They're gonna lose a lot more games. So I feel like if we get it on 11-win range, I think you're gonna have a lot of teams that win 10 games. But those teams that's in those 11 and 12-win ranges is gonna be the teams that make it this year.
And another thing of optimism. Oh, just real quick before we go to break. Our division is also still really close right now. We're 4-4 and we're last in the division, but there's only Pittsburgh's 4-3 now. Baltimore's 5-2. Cincinnati's 5-3. Like that's why it's such a big game, because if we win that, we're right back with Cincinnati, tied for third or second or third, depending on other factors, but we'll be okay.
All right, we're going to take another break really quickly. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Students and staff exposed to COVID-19 might be able to continue attending school in person after the Ohio Department of Health released an option for school districts. Mask to stay, test to play allows this if someone exposed does not have symptoms or test positive, and if exposure occurred in the school setting and not outside of it. From the Ohio Department of Health's website, odh.ohio.gov, there are 2 main sections of the guideline. The mask to stay portion allows individuals to stay in school if they do the following: wear a mask for 14 days after their last exposure date, self-monitor or parent monitor for symptoms of COVID-19, and isolate and get tested if they start to experience symptoms. The test to play portion allows individuals to participate in extracurricular activities if they do the following: wear a mask when able, test on initial notification of exposure to COVID-19, and test again on days 5 through 7. These individuals can end quarantine if they remain asymptomatic and test negative between days 5 through 7. Each school district has the option to implement this guideline. Visit odh.ohio.gov for complete details on this guideline. Mask to stay, test to play.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And make sure you keep those comments coming on StreamYard. You can always listen live, WOVU.org. You can also drop that WOVU app from the App Store so you can listen to us on the go. I'm here with the fellas. I'm here with Caleb Blake and Marshawn Powers. And fellas, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the ball has been in the Cleveland Browns offense's hands 3 times on 3 final drives, and they haven't been able to come up with any points. It started in Kansas City, also took place in Los Angeles against the Chargers, and also yesterday. Yesterday was kind of those situations where there was too much time left on the clock, so you're trying to run something out, but it still didn't produce any points. You guys, what are your thoughts about that? Because this team shows that they cannot come from behind to win the game, and they do not have it at the end of the game. Is it Kevin Stefanski or in his play calling? Because right now, I'm not believing in this play calling right now. I think it's horrendous. Yesterday, that 4th down and 1, and he went for it, and then there was a 4th down and inches, and they didn't go for it. What is going on with Kevin Stefanski? What is going on with this play calling right now?
I definitely think it's more the play calling than the player, specifically Baker right now, because I know that's obviously he's in his contract year right now, and there's a lot of things going around like, should we pay him? Do we not pay him? But the play calling hasn't been great. I mean, the Chargers, Chiefs, and yesterday's game, the Steelers. These are games that we should have won. Like, there is no excuse for, if you want to be a Super Bowl contender at the end of the year, there's no excuse for why you shouldn't win any of these games. And we just can't find a way to, obviously call the right plays, but get it into our playmakers' hands, or it just isn't all coming together right now. And I think I still believe in Kevin Stefanski. I mean, we wouldn't be here without him. We wouldn't win some playoffs without him last year. So I haven't lost hope in him as a coach. I'm not calling for his head or anything like that. But it has to improve before the end of the season. It has to improve quickly if we want to have a chance of even making the playoffs right now. Because it's a very critical stretch if we want to make a run later.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of blame on both, because I was reading a stat earlier where like Baker Mayfield's like 4th quarter stats were like horrendous. Like he hasn't really, he's been essentially a non-factor in the 4th quarter of any game for some time now, so I'm gonna have to put it on, more so on the play calling, because it tells me that, your coach doesn't know your players, doesn't know the situation, hasn't practiced the situation, hasn't really, kind of worked at, anything that could possibly not, 3 times of being in this situation, and, you fail all 3 times. That tells me that that really ain't been a focus for you. So I'm gonna have to blame it a little bit on the coaching, but also the players, because in that crunch of time, you got to have a sense of urgency and know, what you're trying to do. It's things like yesterday with Hollywood Higgins. If you don't know the snap count and you jump off sides and on a, what was it? It was a 4th down, right? 3rd or 4th down, and you move us back 5 yards. That tells me that you don't have a sense of urgency. You don't know what's going on, and it also shows me that, hey, Freddie Kitchens might have knew something when he was benching Hollywood Higgins for conduct detrimental to the team, and not being mature enough to be able to be an NFL player. I thought Hollywood was at least one person you wouldn't have to worry about, but it seems like he got his issues too. So I think if you get a sense of urgency from the players and knowing like, hey, we can't allow this to happen again, and better scheme, better understanding from the coaches. I think you should eliminate this. But it's almost like asking to convert on a 4th down too. It's almost the same thing.
One thing you mentioned is focus, and this is the most penalized team in the NFL. And Kevin Stefanski got a question today about whether or not this team was focused or not, and he said yes. But if you look last year at the 12-5 year, COVID forced that team to focus. If you want to be real about it, this
Yeah,
year
no,
there's nothing to force them to be focused. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they want. Everybody's vaccinated on the team. That focus doesn't have to be there like it was last year because you're doing everything virtual. This year,
yeah.
everything is full back. But there's no excuse. Rodney Harrison, I swear to God, he has an anger issue. They need to do something about him because that what was a late hit out of bounds was just
The
unnecessary.
late hit out of bounds, unnecessary
Yeah,
roughness.
it
Yeah,
was just so
plays like
unnecessary.
that are the biggest killers because
Yeah, you know,
we're hurting ourselves.
yeah.
Right.
And Ronnie Harrison, then, oh man, I'm tired of hearing his name because it's been at least 3 out of the last 4 games that he's done. He gave up 2. Yeah, oh my goodness. Just continue. I don't even want to.
Yeah, didn't he give up a touchdown yesterday too?
Yeah, he gave up a
Yeah,
touchdown. He gave up a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. He gave up 1 touchdown in the Chargers game. Man,
I mean, even in the Chiefs game, the first game of the season when he got ejected for
Yeah,
another just
getting into it
stupid
with the
penalty,
coach.
you can't commit.
Hmm.
Yes,
man.
yes.
Yeah, so
You
this
have to
team
just know better, time and situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's undisciplined, and these are the things that hurt us in games like this. That play wasn't it wiped out though because there was offsetting penalties, so we
yeah,
got lucky
yeah.
on that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But
yeah.
these are the things that hurt us in our drive killers and kill things. Well, you needed to be a drive killer for the other team, but these are the things that continue to have our team out there for 16 play, drives and stuff like that. This defense can't get off the field. Let's talk about the defense a little bit because we got to get to Ohio State shortly. But, this defense has an inability to get up off of the field and they give up these long drives, which doesn't help, but it doesn't help when the offense goes 3-0. Yesterday, Nick Chubb didn't have a great game at all. This was one of the first times that we was outrushed in the game, maybe all season long. So Nick didn't have a great game. Jarvis had 2 drops, which are uncharacteristic of him, and the fumble. Especially that was a drive killer because we was driving down the field. This team just wasn't in sync. Whoever thought that Dearness Johnson would be the bright spot on the team as of yesterday?
Yeah, yeah,
Our
that's
only
true.
touchdown yesterday. So
Yeah, that is true. But no, I mean, piggyback off what you said about the defense, that's one thing I have noticed about what teams have been doing lately, like the past 4 or 5 games. They haven't been giving the offense a chance. They've been dragging that defense. Slow and steady wins the race. They've been dragging the defense out for long drives. That way they give their defense a chance to rest up because they know that our offense is predictable. That's why I say, from now on, I need to see a more aggressive defense. Now, I'm not gonna. I know my guy, DJ Chris Styles, be smiling anytime he see that defense struggle because he already done said a few times that Joe Woods is, for lack of better terms, not the guy. What I mean, there's a lot of people around here that feels like Joe Woods isn't the guy. He don't really blitz a lot. He plays a lot of soft zone coverage, which I don't understand why you playing soft zone on the last drive of the game when we trying to get Pittsburgh to kick us the ball back and they hit us with a slant for 50 yards. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. I think again, I think if we start to see a little bit more physical defense, and it all starts with Myles Garrett. I'm not saying Myles is playing bad, but I mean, what could a Myles Garrett strip sack do for this defense? That could just energize the entire defense. Or what could a Taki or a Mac Wilson, pick six do for this defense? Or he hasn't had it yet. Or Newsome, he get his first career interception do for this defense. We need to create a lot more, opportunities for turnovers instead of playing 20 yards off the ball or on a 3rd and 9. Joe Woods had our players 11 yards off the ball. I thought that was kind of idiotic, but we only can pray. That's the only thing I can say about this defense. We only can pray. It's just the small things. Small things.
Yeah, but small
definitely
things
need to
lead to
see some
big
more.
things. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I think aggressiveness is definitely a big part of that. Also, I mean, and when the offense is going 3-down like that, this is something that we just can't we're so predictable, especially when we're ahead. I think, like, even when we were 10-9, we were still too conservative with, the play calling and stuff. Like you said, Marshawn, we kind of need to see more passing from that side of the ball. I mean, we're so predictable. Like, obviously we have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, D'Ernest, all these great backs, but you have to show some kind of, throw a little play action in there. I mean, that's honestly what Baker does best, is when he's out on the run, when he can sell, the run, because we have these great guys. I mean, we just have to put together better offensive drives to give, Miles and Jadeveon Clowney and all these guys more time to rest, because honestly, I mean, Miles is he's got 10.5 sacks right now. He's on pace to break the single season record, I believe.
Isn't that 20?
But there's only so much. Yeah. Michael Strahan had, I think, like 20.5 or something like that. But there's only so much that they can do when they're always on the field. And playing defense it's impossible in the NFL. There's just so many talented guys. So it's on everybody right now. We just need more continuity in the whole organization.
Yeah, the defense isn't bad, but it's just like, when you follow the team from a different eye view, you see, all right, we can get better at this, we can get better at that, and I think we will, but we're 8 games in, so it's like, I don't think we have to now.
Really quickly before we go to break, thoughts about Baker. Should Baker have sat down yesterday after his performance, and should they have played Case Keenum instead if you knew that this is what you were going to get with Baker?
No, I'm not changing my answer. No. Listen, if you take away all 7 drops, right? Baker Mayfield yesterday would have went 27 for 31. If you take away all 7 drops, that's 87% with a busted left shoulder. All respect to Case Keenum, I don't think he would have performed that well like that against the Steelers. I just think Baker got that aura against him in a battle like this against the Steelers.
Yeah, Baker is definitely still my guy. I, like you said, all the drops, he played well enough for us to win yesterday. I believe he played well enough for us to win yesterday. We just didn't have enough other guys making plays. I mean, and he's not perfect. We know he's not perfect, but I still think that he'll continue to get better. I still think that he's going to keep fighting. Obviously, he'll definitely play against Cincinnati, and he does so many things that Case Keenum just got. Like you just said, Case Keenum, great guy, great backup quarterback, but he can't make the same kinds of plays.
This is the first time I'll say all season. Well, no, not all season, but this is the actual game I could say Baker Mayfield had no effect in us losing this game. Yeah, it was a couple overthrows, but
that happens in games. But how about when
that happens in games?
On that late hit, he got up out of bounds and he ran charging out. What did y'all think of that?
Yeah.
Was y'all pumped?
That was my favorite play of the game. My favorite play of the game.
I said that adrenaline is pumping.
I'm like, he's so hurt right now.
And I'm like, that's my guy.
I'm like, he's gonna be so iced out and in pain tonight. I'm like, he's so hurt right now. I'm like, he might have got up. Like it meant nothing, but I'm like, dude is in so much pain right now. He's gonna be hurting in the morning.
Yeah. If the Browns win the Super Bowl, that picture of him on the sideline is gonna be they're gonna replace the old LeBron picture in front of the queue and put that picture of Baker right there.
No, they
standing
not
on the sideline.
I was like, man, what is he doing?
I mean, he got me up out of my seat though. I was like, I got juiced up after I saw him getting up and hyping up the crowd like that. That's why we love Baker. That's why he's our guy. So I want to see more of that from him, honestly. I mean, because all the things going on with his shoulder, it was good to see him finally show himself again.
All right, we gotta take another break, fellas. Time be flying, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Time flies.
Real fast. Way too
having
fast.
a good time. So we're going to come back and talk OSU when we get back. We'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Put your hands together for the praise and worship event of the year. We come to praise him. Saturday, November 6th, with gospel sensation still under construction. Live at Painesville Assembly of God with your host and praise and worship leader, Jay the Gospel Kid, 10949 Johnny Cake Ridge Road in Painesville. The show starts at 5, doors open at 4. You don't want to miss this epic event. We come to praise him with Still Under Construction, hosted by Jay the Gospel Kid, live Saturday, November 6th at Painesville Assembly of God, 10949 Johnny Cake Ridge Road in Painesville. For more information, call 440-376-8949. That's 440-376-8949. Brought to you by Still Under Construction and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United. Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with rising sophomore Caleb Blake from The Ohio State University, and I am here with Mr. Marshawn Powers. And Caleb, man, how lucky was Ohio State to get that win on Saturday night?
Real lucky.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna say lucky. I don't know if I'm gonna say lucky. It definitely was not our best performance, especially considering how much we had dominated, the lesser teams in the Big Ten before that, Maryland. But yeah, I mean, 33-24.
I caught that.
33-24. It was all right. The biggest takeaway to me was how I thought we didn't perform very well in the fourth quarter. We ended up settling on our last three drives. We ended up with 2 field goals, and for 2 of those drives, we were also on Penn State's side of the 50-yard line. Cam Brown had a really big pick, puts us on the 25, and then penalties and other things just set us back. We ended up kicking a field goal. Those are opportunities and things that when we get to the playoff, like I'm expecting, or even not, I'm not even gonna say the playoff. When we play Michigan State in 2 weeks, that's something that you have to execute in those kind of situations. When you play Michigan at the Big House, it's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. You have to execute in those when you have the opportunity to capitalize on things like that. You can't just let it go to waste and take 3 points, especially against these teams that the Big Ten. Everybody, you're going to get your best shot from everyone just because Ohio State's on our jersey. So, I mean, overall, I wasn't too mad about the game. I mean, another concern was Trey Henderson. He had that big 68-yard run, and his stat line looked very nice. But realistically, they did a really good job of bottling him up throughout most of the game, because I think he ended up with 28 carries for 152 yards. But I mean, 68 of that was on that one run. So, but C.J. Stroud was solid. He didn't have too many overthrows. Wasn't as accurate as he has been in the past, but I'm not too worried about the Buckeyes right now. I think, we got Nebraska and Purdue, little tune-ups, especially Purdue because we've had problems with them in the past. But I think that's going to be a nice tune-up before Michigan State at home and then Michigan at the Big House.
You were at the game on Saturday, right?
I was.
What was it
we
like
stormed
to
the
be
field
in that
after the win.
environment? Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, it was awesome.
Y'all stormed the field after barely. Listen, I wish my guy. I wish my guy Chris Styles. I wish I was in studio because you hear how crazy this is. Y'all stormed the field after barely beating Penn State. I was disappointed. I wanted to see. Listen. I wanted to see y'all blow Penn State out the water. Blow them out the water. You already lost to Oregon, so the resume is already still kind of questionable. Don't think that Ohio State is just automatically gonna get in the playoff, because right now they still on the outside.
We got to win out. We got to win out.
Yeah, the college playoff rankings come out tomorrow. I believe if they beat Michigan State, they're gonna probably end up playing Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. Because Iowa didn't hit the slap the floor. So we know this is a typical Ohio State year right here. We know it's what can you do to anybody else that's not in the Big Ten. That's gonna be my question from now on. And if Ohio State continues to blow teams out like they did, was it the year that They had Chase Young and all like that. They look like a team that
Mm-hmm.
nobody could stop outside the Big Ten. Right now, I feel like if you barely beating the Penn States and all like that, then I mean, only team I can see them beating right now is Oklahoma. I think they're better than Oklahoma. I ain't gonna disrespect the Buckeyes that bad. I still think they're better than Oklahoma.
Yeah, we still have a lot to prove for sure. It's no guarantee. The Michigan State game is. I mean, Michigan State's obviously no joke because they were completely out of that game against Michigan this week and came back and ended up
Walker
winning.
is different.
So yeah, he's that guy. We'll see what happens, but I still have a lot of faith in the Buckeyes. I still think that Coach Day will continue to rally us. That's honestly, to me, he's just a great motivator. Like the play calling wasn't. I mean, he just gets his guys to play hard. And especially the best play of the game, by the way, was we had a big man touchdown.
Big man scoop, yeah.
Big man scoop and score. Big man scoop and score.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
he was huffing on the sidelines after that. But I'm really not too worried right now, though. I think we'll still be all right, and we'll do what the Buckeyes do. We'll be in the playoffs and come December.
Hey, he was still out though. He was gone. For like a big dude.
Oh yeah.
He was quick.
Oh,
he was moving. He was moving.
Yeah.
I mean, the stadium was going crazy. Everyone was just rocking. Like,
hey, let me ask you this though, Caleb. Knowing that Ryan Day, he's probably one of the hottest. I consider Nick Saban, and then maybe him. I don't think anybody, in my opinion, is better than him. How long do you think is it before that he starts looking at NFL jobs? How many years do you think he tries to win at O State until he's like, all right, I'm good?
I think right now, because we're still pretty early in his OSU career. This is year 3, I want to say, maybe year 2, but at year 3 at the latest. So I think there's still a lot that he's going to want to accomplish. I don't think he's like really looking out the door right now. I like, honestly, you guys, and I mean, this is obviously he's in the NFL, but Mike Tomlin, the way he was saying, like, I have the best job in the world. Like, he believes that. I think Ryan Day is kind of a similar thing. Like, you're the head coach at Ohio State. You're a great, you don't really have to do too much recruiting because the name speaks for itself. And, he's a player's coach also. I mean, all the players, other than Kevon Pope, but that's a totally different debacle. That's behind us now. So but he is a player's coach. Most of his players always love him. And I just don't think that there's going to be, as of right now, there's going to be some NFL jobs opening up. I definitely think the Bears are going to move on from Matt Nagy. I think, Miami, I hope they stay with Brian Flores. But, I mean, when you're 1-6 right now, it's kind of hard to justify that kind of resume. And especially, the development of Tua, they've got their own problems and whatnot. But I don't think there's going to be anything that can really pull him away from Ohio State. I guess maybe the Bears, if he got to reunite with Justin Fields, that would be kind of interesting. But
that would be really
he
interesting.
would want to leave. That'd be fun. That would be. I would hate for him to
imagine
leave,
him
but
sending
that'd be
him
real
a blank
fun.
check. Imagine him sending him a blank check and Justin Fields to recruit him back to the NFL. Name your price. Name your price, and you get your quarterback. And hey, it'd be crazy. I know we thinking ahead. This is just hypothetically. What if they say, we're guaranteed to draft one of your receivers first round? That'd be nuts. I would leave.
I mean, that'd be interesting. I don't think that he wants. Nothing's telling me he wants to leave Ohio State right now. So hopefully he'll be with us for next 10 years.
About Ryan Day?
Yeah.
He need to get seasoned more as a head coach in college.
Okay.
Of this team, he need to win a title
he's
first.
He's been an assistant for a while. Definitely needs to win a title.
But he needs to win a title first, and then he can leave. If he win a title, he can leave for the NFL.
Well, this is the last year. I don't know if you guys been paying attention. So this year, these guys that as NFL eligible is the last year of Urban Meyer's guys. Because didn't Urban Meyer recruit Garrett Wilson? So this is technically the last year of Urban's guys, if we're being honest. Now we're gonna see what Ryan do. Now Ryan's handprint is over the entire program now. Because Urban's guys has officially left the building, I think, after Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson was one of the last few guys that Urban recruited.
Yeah, because I was about to say, hasn't Urban been gone 2 years now? At least?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these guys recruit 2 years in advance, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There's still just too much talent, though, I think. And when you think about a guy like Quinn Ewers, look, Quinn Ewers he's gonna be that guy. I'm saying it right now. I'll take it to my grave. He's that guy.
My last question. I asked people, man, you the Ohio State insider. My last one. What is it that CJ Stroud has to do to keep Quinn Ewers on the bench next year? Because I personally believe CJ Stroud could win the Heisman. He can win the national championship. It does not matter. They got a guy that is getting X amount of dollars in the NIL deal that people are going to want to see.
If he won the Heisman, even though I don't think he will, but if he won the Heisman, it'd be there's no way that Coach Day would be able to keep him on the bench. However, if they win a national championship, I still think he has a strong enough case to remain the starter. I know that Quinn has all his NIL deals and whatnot, but he's redshirting this year. He should be a senior in high school. So I mean, realistically this only affects him because he'll go to the NFL 1 year early. But I definitely don't think that he'll. I don't think he would want to leave or transfer. I mean, I guess I hope he wouldn't want to leave or transfer if CJ was the starter again next year. But if Ohio State wins the national championship, there's no reason to bench him.
I just think of remember what happened with Clemson when they had before Trevor Lawrence. It was I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He transferred to Missouri.
Taj Boyd.
No, it was after Boyd.
Taj Boyd was a little bit before.
It was the guy right after Deshaun.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. His name. This is gonna kill me because I know who it is. But he did transfer.
Yeah, it was the same thing. He had his first year at Clemson. They were amazing. If I'm not mistaken, they went to the national championship and Trevor Lawrence saved them. And then the next year they gave him the opportunity to be the starter again. Then after that, they gave it over to Trevor. So I'm not saying that that's going to be the case with CJ Stroud, but history repeats itself a lot in life, and I just so happened to just think about that one day and was like, maybe I could. Never know.
So it was Kelly Bryant. Kelly
Bryant. That's
was
his
the
name.
quarterback.
Yeah.
But if CJ does win the national championship, though, Quinn can wait another year. He can wait another year.
Man, fellas, that's our time. It's about 7:00. So, man, that's been a great show. Happy to have y'all on. Caleb, thanks for being on from Columbus. Marshawn, appreciate you joining us at the last minute. It's been a great show. And this is Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We out of here. Whew.